Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Otakusphere Weekly, and I believe we are up to episode 18. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm Karen, and with me tonight are Sal.
Yo.
And Lifesong.
Hello.
Hey, so it's good to be podcasting again. Basically, we had other commitments, primarily me, but other people as well, so we just didn't end up finishing podcasting during the summer season, but hopefully we're back for a while now. So I figured we'd start off by just talking about what anime we did watch during the hiatus. Well, I guess I may as well start, because I'm talking already. You know how it goes. I ended up finishing New Game, which I liked, but I didn't love. I kind of wanted more stuff about the game and less stuff about the girls palling around, which may be the opposite of what the show's dedicated audience wanted. But I did finish it, and I did enjoy it. I just wish there was more about Fairy Story 3 and less about, I don't know, the girls drinking tea or whatever. I ended up going back and watching First Love Monster and writing about it, and honestly, it was a bad decision, but I kind of had fun writing about it, so you know, I'm okay with it. Like, basically, at the beginning of the season, like, Lifesong, if you remember, you and I were asking, like...
I remember.
Like, who could this possibly be targeted at? And the answer is no one. There's no sane person who this is targeted at. So, I finished that. What else did I know I watched one or two other shows to completion over the summer season. I watched...
What about Bananyan?
Bananyan, no, I never got back to it. I mean, maybe someday I'll finish it because it will take all of like 10 minutes to watch the episodes I haven't seen. But I didn't. I was too mad at them for, you know, screwing up what I thought was a dynamite premise. So I stopped watching. And I watched to the end of This Art Club. This Art Club Has a Problem, which is another one like New Game. I liked it. I didn't love it. I probably wouldn't have finished it were it not for the fact that I'm kind of have a hobby within a hobby of always watching these like art club, art school shows, so I finished it. So yeah, I let a lot of things drop that I think I will actually eventually go back to. Like, I didn't finish Tales of Lemon Zest. I didn't finish Alderman, even though Wilson actually did. I know he liked it a lot, so I need to finish that. But I think that was all I finished last season. Sal, what about you?
I finished Mob Psycho, which I know Life was keeping up with.
I'm behind. I wish I could discuss it with you, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I dropped like halfway through.
I'll try to. Are you planning to go back to it, or you dropped it?
I'm absolutely going back to it. I just haven't had time yet.
I guess I'll try to keep it simple. I don't want to spoil too much, but like, it had a very heartwarming ending in regards to how he bond, in regards to Reagan, like. The final arc, like, you just see him doing, like, all these ridiculous things. They just appreciate the character even more, like, despite him being, like, a con artist that's, like, using mob to make money and stuff.
He always was the best character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even though I wasn't watching the show, I noticed at one point in my Twitter timeline went Reagan crazy. And I was like, wait, isn't that the guy who's just, like, the con artist? But apparently everybody loves him, so...
Yeah, well, the thing about him is, and you know, sure, I've only watched half of the show, so I don't know what he does in the end, but the thing about him is that he gives this really great advice to Mob that he doesn't follow at all, but it's good advice.
Yeah.
Like Reagan himself is completely bullshitting. Everything he says is like, yeah, that's good life advice, you should be worried about those people, and he's totally one of those people you should be worried about.
Oh, I was saying that I think the part where Reagan exploded in popularity was around the time when he did something ridiculous when they started introducing the main villains for Mob Psycho, who are probably going to be recurring when the show comes back, hopefully.
Okay, so there's no guaranteed Season 2 announcement or anything like that?
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that maybe it did well enough to get one. I mean, One Punch Man got a second season confirmed.
Two Punch, Too Furious?
Yeah, might as well. So, I'm hoping that one's other story will get lucky, too.
We can hope. Alright, anything else besides Mob Psycho?
Let's see, I finished the first season I finished the Berserk series.
I feel weird. I feel like I'm like your therapist, and how was that? How did that make you feel?
I mean, honestly, like, let's face it, like, CG aside, like, I enjoyed it overall. Kind of sucks a little bit that it was 12 episodes instead of 24, 26, to the point where they kind of ended, like, some big stuff was kind of happening. There was, like, some God Hand-related stuff happening.
I think I could be mistaken, but I think if I understood what I saw at the ending credit or after the ending credits of the last episode, they announced a season 2.
Yes, it is coming back.
Okay.
I was just surprised that it was going to be 12 episodes, considering that the original series lasted, I think, 26.
I think you're right.
Well, isn't it extremely uncommon these days for anything to be more than 12 or 13 episodes? It just seems like. For some reason, that was maybe just it was because it was cheaper. I don't know. It was easier to do that back in the 90s.
At the same time, the things that do tend to be a little bit longer are often like older shows, like you'd almost expect like Berserk would be.
Usually, like Lifestyle, like for properties that usually already have like a big reputation already.
See, I wonder with something like Berserk, because you on the one hand you could say it's been around a long time and has a lot of name recognition. But on the other hand, you could be like, well, how many of the people who originally watched it the first time around are still going to be, interested in watching this incarnation? So
the manga's been around since the 80s. Like, I think Berserk came out. I think Berserk was first published in 1989 or 88.
It's like Oh My Goddess.
In fact, like I think Guts might be at least one of the most influential characters that influences a lot of the manly characters with huge swords in any Japanese medium.
You do see a lot of characters where you're like, even if you haven't seen Berserk, you're like, that's influenced by Guts.
I probably have, and I didn't know, just because I'm Berserk ignorant. Okay, so you saw Mob Psycho and Berserk, which Lifesong also completed. Any other series you want to mention, Sal?
Well, I still need to finish New Game, but I have a feeling that I might feel the same way you felt about it in the end. Though I was kind of expecting that the show was still going to go in that direction just from the first couple episodes. You got to discuss and cover about it.
If my expectations for New Game were too high, I have no one to blame but myself, because I knew exactly what type of show it was from the very beginning. But just because
to be fair, it was also because of Shirobako. Like, Shirobako did such a good job with how it described the anime environment, so maybe you're expecting New Game to kind of do the same thing, but with video games. Yeah,
see, the whole problem is Shirobako. It's all Shirobako's fault.
Yeah.
It raised the bar, and now I can never be satisfied with just a paltry, moe girls making video games. Although apparently we're getting another one this season, although that hasn't aired yet, so we'll see about that.
And New Game might come back for a second season, because the manga is still going.
Yeah, and it certainly, well, you always get a warped view on, English language Twitter, but it certainly seems popular. So I certainly wouldn't count that one out as coming back. Lifesong, well, you finished Berserk. If there's anything further you want to comment on that, and also, what else have you watched?
Yeah, not too much extra to say about Berserk, except one thing I'd add to the Berserk comments is that I felt like it really fit into the 12 episodes. I was actually surprised at, like, I kind of had this impression of Berserk as this sort of grimdark fantasy that never goes anywhere. Probably because I watched the original, and there's this little bit of hope and whatnot that's just kind of shining through at the end of the series. Like, I really liked it. I was surprised by how much I liked it. I think it's the first show with that kind of CG where I can say I enjoyed this show, and I can't even hit on the CG too much. I don't know.
That's cool.
And hopefully, if it gets popular enough, maybe they'll pull a Sailor Moon Crystal. Maybe change the team and go full 2D.
Is that what happened with Sailor Moon Crystal?
Apparently, the latest arc, the one that was adapting, I think, the Heart Snatchers arc and the Sailor Saturn arc, like, they changed teams. It's now fully 2D. Like, there's no more CG transformations. Like, it's all, like, beautiful 2D and transformations and stuff.
I gotta wonder if it is price that makes them choose this style.
Because interestingly, I like Linden Films, the studio that did Berserk. Like, I looked up their previous record, and they've done more 2D projects than 3D ones.
Yeah, a lot of their stuff has been shorts. So I wonder if maybe they just don't have the team or the budget, or I gotta wonder. I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I was just thinking that it's interesting that with all these studios, we kind of try to speculate on why they make the decisions they make and why they take the projects they take, but we don't really know, in part because of the language barrier, and in part because I don't think even fans of Japan necessarily know that much about what's going on. on the inside of these anime studios. It's like you want some of the animators to release like tell-all books or something. So
I have a feeling that it could be a publisher thing. Like, for example, like let's say Aniplex is a publisher. Like maybe Aniplex picks a studio for whatever show, and if that studio's available, then they take the project because they need the money.
That could very well be true. I mean, I just wish I knew more about that process, kind of whatever it is. So.
Me too. I try to find as much as I can, but, like you said, the language barrier gets in the way. It's really hard to find information.
I think one example would be like with A1. Like, I think like A1's probably like Aniplex's go-to studio for a lot of their stuff. Because a lot of A1 stuff tends to be licensed by Aniplex.
I think A1 themselves are largely a company that licenses other studios.
What is the A1 made?
They were Sword Art Online.
Oh, really?
For one, yeah.
Oh, you'd think I would have known
Maji. What did they do recently?
And I guess for the most part, like maybe Trigger as well too, because a good chunk of like Trigger's big projects have been with Aniplex, with the exception of a few.
All right. Well, I guess we'll make a mental note going forward to try to figure out what's going on with anime production. We probably won't learn much, but we can try.
Yeah, you never know when you'll find a gold mine of information, and then you know all sorts of things.
Actually, should I mention this now, or should may as well. There is one guy. I started noticing that there was an English name in the credits of a lot of different anime. And the name is Scott McDonald. He's apparently a British guy who works as an animator in Japan, but he's a British guy. He speaks English. So I was thinking, I wonder if I could like reach out to him and ask him to tell me about anime industry stuff, and he'd probably just be like, "No, I contractually cannot tell you anything."
Well,
there's
also Thomas Romaine as well too, who like works as Satellite, and he also did like the spaceship designs for Space Dandy. He's like another Westerner that lives in Japan.
I can't think of his name right now. There's a French guy who worked on No Game No Life, and he talked about that a bit. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. But see, the British guy, McDonald, I know where he is on Twitter, so that's what makes him special. All right, but something to consider another time, perhaps.
I would say you should message him one day to see what he replies with. You never know.
I don't know, you always feel so presumptuous, and you'd think, having actually worked as a journalist for a couple of years, I'd be over this feeling of like, oh, it's presumptuous, but yeah, I never get over that, but maybe one of these days, we'll see. Okay, so I think we've kind of covered the anime we've been watching for the last couple of months. Before we get into the new season's offerings of what's aired so far, Life, a couple of months ago you went to Otakon, and I'm sure there were some interesting things that transpired there, but before you tell any Otakon stories, I have to ask you one question, which is extraordinarily important.
Okay.
Did you find out the correct pronunciation of ufotable?
Oh, I did not.
Lysong, you had one job. One job.
Yeah, like, all you have to do is go to the Aniplex booth and ask them, like, how do you pronounce that studio that spelled U-F-O-T-table?
I saw them one place, and that was in the dealer's room, and there was, like, a mile-long line.
Oh.
And I wasn't about to get in that line.
No, Life, what you do is you stand on someone's shoulder, you find a tall person, like a tall cosplayer, you stand on their shoulders, and you'll, how do you pronounce ufotable?
And then I'll get 12 different answers from a dozen different people, and I won't know which one of them knows what it is.
Well, I guess you just sort of have to, like, see what the most common answer. All right, this might take more work than I thought.
Just wait to see who's still standing when the debate's done.
Okay, so even though you failed in your one job, which is sad and disheartening, tell us about Otakon, I suppose. What'd you do?
Oh man, so it feels like it was so long ago now. I'm trying to remember what all I did. I think I missed all of the industry stuff.
What were you doing that you missed all the industry stuff?
We mostly went to like the game show type things that they had there, the like trivia contests and whatnot. We didn't win any of them, so that's a really boring story.
So you actually enjoyed yourself and had fun at the convention?
I know, it was kind of just like we treated it like a party, I didn't pay any attention to the announcements and stuff that were going on.
Well, there's a lot. Well, when it comes to big conventions like that, there's a lot of options to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things we do, you got 3 days of convention, and one of the big things I always wind up doing with my buddies, we spent one of the whole days in the dealer's room. And that was a lot of fun.
Did you buy anything cool?
I didn't buy too much. Some of my friends did. I'm trying to think now. What did I buy? Just mostly wall prints. Someday I will take some pictures of all of this decorative stuff I've got.
Like, were they like official? Were they a mix of official merch, or did you buy a couple from the Artist Alley as well too?
Most of what I bought this year was from the Artist Alley.
Nice. So you got to support a couple artists. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, the last time we went to Otakon, which was, God, it was years ago already. I think it was 2011. I think Wilson bought, like, a ton of stuff in Artist Alley. He bought some artist dinner that night, pretty much. I mean, not literally, but that was functionally what happened. And actually, we could use some new wall hangings, because the ones I have in the kitchen, yeah, they kind of freak my mom out. So I need some, like, more,
those are the best kind.
Like, what were they of that they freaked her out?
Well, I've got one from Ghost in the Shell. It's Mitoko Kusanagi from Standalone Complex standing holding a gun, and my mom's like, "Why is she holding a gun? Why is she pointing a gun at me? I'm eating!" So, and I also have my old Rei Ayanami wall scroll that I've had, like, ever since high school. I put it in the kitchen because it's got the same color scheme as Mitoko does, black and purple, so I thought it kind of matched. But of course it's kind of sad. It's just Rei looking at you with sad face, like, I am sad, I am Rei. So, yeah, we need some more, I need something, like, more uplifting for our kitchen. So, that's my little project at the moment.
Oh, Life, what about the AMV contest you got to go to with your friends?
Oh, I will say that, the AMV contest, like, usually we go to AMVs wind up being one of the things myself and all my friends really like to get into at these conventions, and the AMV contest was a lot of fun at Otakon this year. Usually we kind of walk away and be like, yeah, a few of those were really cool. I mean, none of them are like, usually none of the ones in the contest are like, wow, how did that even get in? But there's usually not that many we're like super excited about, and this year it was like a really good contest. I don't know, we really enjoyed it.
Any particular songs you can remember?
I've got AMVs at the back of my head. There was, I think my favorite was Crystal Eyes AMV from an anime. If I can remember the name of the anime. It's one of those animes where they take the like really old like Gatchaman Crowd stuff and they remade it into something new. And I'm trying to remember the name. Yatterman Nights. And that was a really cool AMV.
That's cool. I like AMVs in general. I made a Sailor Moon one once years ago.
Oh yeah?
Yep. I don't know. I think I'd have trouble still finding it though, because I know I don't have the original files anymore on this computer. Maybe they're somewhere. They're on a disc somewhere. But I wanted to make one for Durarara with a Boom Boom Satellite song, and I never made it. I feel kind of bad about that. Maybe some year I'll just have 100 spare hours. I'll be like, okay, time to make an AMV, because it's really time consuming. Like if you want to. I mean, yeah, you can just throw a couple of clips in and have some music and be like, okay, I'm done. But if you really want to, show your vision or what have you, it's really time consuming. So.
Yeah, one of the things they do, a different convention I went to, but one of the things they like to do at NDK, and I think they do this at a lot of conventions, is like an Iron Chef type of thing where you've got like 2-3 hours. And the contestants make AMVs while they're kind of got this show going on, and I'm always kind of blown away that they're able to make something in that amount of time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think I vaguely knew that existed, but hearing you say it, it's like, oh man, I feel bad I never saw any of that during the time I was actually actively going to cons, because that's the thing I probably would have enjoyed.
Yeah. I think there was also I think at a convention I went to, I didn't go to it, but I think they also had a thing like that, but with cosplay, where you had to try to come up with like a cosplay in less than 2 hours.
See, how could you even what kind of stuff would they have to have on hand to even make that possible?
Yeah.
I guess I could just have a lot of cloth. Actually, I've had thoughts of learning how to sew and stuff, so maybe I could make little outfits for Gwen or something, but then I stopped myself and I'm like, realistically, this is like the 800th project you're considering doing. Do you really think this is the one that's going to happen? But I like the idea of it, though. It's cool.
What would you dress her up as if you could make clothes for her?
Maybe Gwendolyn from Otakusphere. I guess we'll move on to the fall season of anime, and just a note for the listeners, we're kind of playing it more casual this time because the more ambitious, trying to cover as much as possible stuff that we were doing in spring and some of the summer. Basically, it's just, I mean, I'm glad that we tried it, but it was really, like, too much work for everyone involved. So we're just gonna, like, watch anime and have fun and not bother trying to watch, like, every single thing that Japan puts out. So, but that said, the season just started, so now at least I'm trying to kind of watch a whole bunch of things and just sort of get a feel for what I might want to be sticking with. So I watched quite a few things in the past week. I watched Magical Girl Raising Project. Anyone else with me on that?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm in. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting about it was, like, when I first read the synopsis, I thought that it was going to be about magical girls and the mobile game thing was just a frame element. But as I was watching the first episode, it actually felt more like it was really like commentary on mobile games. And the magical girl stuff was almost incidental. Does that make any sense?
No, I get you. I kind of have a feeling they'll move away from that as it goes on, but I did think it was neat that they stuck to that. I don't even know if I want to call it commentary, but that they stuck to that aspect of it and they kind of played it up and did something fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, my fear for this show is that it's going to go all grimdark really soon, and then they'll all be killing each other, and, like, that's going to be it. It's like, oh, look how deep this is, because they're all killing each other. And I'll be like, no, that's not deep. So.
Well, they are all going to be killing each other. I mean, that's...
Well, I mean, okay, the first, like, the opening scene made that pretty clear, I guess, but, like, I hope it's not just, that's not all it is, you know, I hope it's not, like, darkness substituting for depth.
They did say that, you know, like, it's, in a typical battle royale, you know, there can only be one, everyone else dies. Well, they made it clear from the beginning, they're cutting it down by half. So, I mean, maybe not everyone's going to die, or, we don't even technically know that dying is what happens when they lose, or what the purpose of this little puppet thing is. So yeah, we'll have to just kind of play it by ear and see what they are planning to do with it.
Yeah, aesthetically I really liked it, and I really liked the little detail that, I can't remember the heroine's name now, but, she's, like, really, really caught up on the idea that, wait, that girl's costume, she's a witch, she's not a magical girl.
Yeah, she's a witch, she's not a magical girl, and that partner of hers is a ninja. This doesn't work.
Yeah, because it's like, I think her design, and they even commented on this, that her design is the most classic magical girl, but she's like the magical girl purist. And
yeah, I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that her partner is actually the dude that she used to talk about magical girl stuff with.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, and I'm kind of...
just threw that in there.
I'm kind of regretting commentary that may come out about that, but we'll see.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know. Like, so someone's gonna make some obnoxious point about, oh, well, how, of course, the knight with the sword is really a guy.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that yet.
See, this is where I am now.
No, see, that's, and I'll tell you why that's ridiculous. Because usually it's the character that was a dude in real life that gets, with a sword, that gets turned into a woman in anime. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, but, like, this is where I am. I'm anticipating obnoxious think pieces before they've even happened.
Yeah, you might be right. I hope not.
And I did think that the main character's design was a little bit reminiscent of Madoka, but I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, the main character is supposed to look kind of like the most like a classic magical girl, and Madoka's design was supposed to kind of evoke Cardcaptor Sakura and be more of a classic magical girl. So there's a method to the madness.
Yeah, and I do think that it is more Madoka than anything else. But you know, one thing I thought was interesting. One of my favorite, most memorable things that they did with Madoka was how they made Sayaka out to be sort of like the story of the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that was cool.
Weaved in there. Well, this main character, her magical girl name is Snow White.
Yeah, and it's interesting that her power is what, she like hears the thoughts of people in trouble or something?
Yeah, I think it might be. I wonder if the translation was weird. I think it might just be that she has telekinetic powers. She can read minds or something. I don't know.
That would be telepathic powers.
Yes, you're right. That would be, yes, thank you.
My X-Men years are serving me well.
I knew I was wrong when I said it. I was like, that's not it, right?
But it's interesting because, okay, if she just hears the thoughts of people in trouble, then when they all start fighting each other, that's a pretty crappy power to have.
Oh, not really. I mean, if she really could just read the thoughts of anybody who's in trouble, I mean, she could get all kinds of information off from people whenever they get cornered or they're in trouble, or even by making them think that they're in trouble. Now, I don't know. She doesn't seem like the manipulative type, but I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Actually, what the QB guy says at the beginning, he says something like, your morals and athleticism and intelligence are all suitable to be a magical girl, blah, 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 blah. I wonder if at the end it'll be like a gut punch, like, yeah, your intelligence, you have to be a certain amount of stupid to be a magical girl.
Yeah, it might be. We'll see.
Yeah. So, alright, we're on board with Magical Girl Raising Project for now. Moving on to other girls who are magical, but not a magical girl show, Izetta, the Last Witch. I'm in a quandary with the show, because I thought it was incredibly well done, almost like they could not have done a better job with that first episode. But I feel like I'm weary of World War II fiction right now, and I kind of don't want to get involved in a show that has a World War II setting, and that's not Izetta's fault, but I'm kind of on the fence about it right now for that reason. I assume you probably saw that one, right, Life?
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I watched. I'm completely on board. I watched the first step. I mean, it was my number one pick for things I was excited for, and I love the first episode. I'm already in love with the princess. Yeah,
that's a badass princess.
She is.
And it's kind of become, well, I don't know, it's kind of with the Disney princesses and everything.
They're all badasses. It would actually be more original if she sucked.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Even though badass princesses have kind of become the norm lately, she still surprised me. And you know why? I think it's because everything she did was pretty plausible.
Yeah, I like how, I like how she goes in and she's like, yeah, I'm going to get into an arranged marriage to make this alliance happen. And of course, they threw that out the window seconds later, but they were smart about how it all played out. The blow by blow, it was like, yeah, I'm not completely. I don't feel like I need to turn my brain off with the politics here.
Yeah. Although, what are they doing? They're using Germania and Britannica. And what country do you think Fine's country is supposed to be, or is hers just completely made up? You think?
I think it's the made up country. I was wondering that myself, and I was looking at that map, and I was thinking to myself, I don't know real European geography well enough to know if they're hinting at something or not.
Where's the place located at in the map?
It would have been below Germany or Germania, in these mountainous area. But like I said, I don't know real geography of Europe nearly well enough.
Well, first I thought maybe they're implying it's supposed to be like Switzerland, but that would.
Well, I think Switzerland would have been the neutral place that she was going to.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
And they invaded Switzerland in the beginning of.
There's a chance that it.
Episode.
Life. You said it was south of Germania, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a chance that it could be Austria. It could be that version of Austria.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because I'm looking at a map of Europe right now, and in Austria south from Germany. I mean, the only other place could be Italy.
Yeah, it wasn't Italy.
So one of those two. Italy or Austria, one of those two.
Austria would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, there probably are one or two Europeans who are going to be listening to this podcast and oh, these ignorant Americans. I don't know their European geography.
Please comment and correct us. I want to know.
Yes.
Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, this is one of the few shows so far this season that Wilson watched the opening episode. He really liked it, so if he's also watching it, I guess I'm just going to have to stuff my misgivings and just deal with it. But I don't know if it's just that maybe between books I've read and seeing Joker Game a couple of months ago, I'm just okay, I've had enough of World War II for a while, or if I honestly think the show would be better if it wasn't World War II related. I don't know yet. So
I kind of feel like, I hear what you're saying about Joker Game. I don't think this is going to feel like Joker Game at all.
No, probably not. But it's more that I saw Joker Game, and I read, earlier this year, I read Cryptonomicon, a lot of which takes place during World War II. I think I've seen some other, World War II related things, and I'm just World War II'd out. What can I tell you? I need some punchy, spicy Vietnam era, antics again.
Nobody wants to touch Vietnam.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I kind of did, though, because I saw X-Men Days of Future Past, and that has Vietnam stuff in it, so, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So, and you haven't seen Izetta yet, right, Sal?
Not yet.
Okay, that might be one of the ones you want to consider picking up, because I think we're probably...
Cool.
I think that's going to be one of the premiere shows this season, to sound very snotty about it. Another show I watch, which I'm 99% sure neither of you have, Magic-Kyun Renaissance.
Not yet.
Okay, it's a reverse harem. It's very similar to Uta no Prince-sama, except instead of being all about idols singing, it's about all the guys do different arts. Like, one's a calligrapher, one's a singer, one's a painter, and so on and so forth. But what's really weird about it is that in this world, like, people who do art, like, they create sparkles. Like, the guy who sings, he creates these red rose-colored sparkles that glow whenever he sings. And they go to this academy to learn how to develop this sparkling magic. And, like, it has the effect of making it seem like the art itself is useless. Like, the only purpose to doing any of these artistic activities that they do is to create sparkles.
What are the sparkles useful for?
They're pretty. Or at least that's what it seems like so far. So far, it doesn't seem like they have any practical use.
What? So they have one thing that has no practical use that they use to make another thing that has no practical use. Am I understanding this right? Pretty
much, yeah. I mean, I know I'm probably... Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard. I'm just supposed to be trying to, figure out which one my new husbando is. But, I mean, I think they picked, like, an artistic setting because, they want to celebrate art, and they figure people who are into art are maybe more inclined to be into this particular show. But it's actually kind of insulting if you like art.
Yeah, probably. I would think it would be more on the insulting side.
Yeah, so I've gotta keep up with this for another at least another episode or two, just to see. Okay, are they really just making pointless sparkles and that's all they do? Like, I've gotta see if that's the case. Okay, next one I had on my list came out 2 or 3 days ago, I think. Scorching Ping Pong Girls. Anybody seen that yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's I thought it was pretty solid so far. I was just wondering, because we had that ping pong anime a couple of years ago by Yuasa, which, even though it was a very well done anime, I thought it was like the polar opposite of moe. So now we get like a proper moe ping pong anime. And the main character actually looks a lot like Aoba from New Game. So it just seems like instead of, I decided she just decided to play ping pong for a while. Although she kind of became a bitch, so I don't know what happened to her. So, I don't know. I think it's well made so far, but I don't know if I like ping pong enough to continue watching. Because, like, I don't know. Ping pong is just so fast. I can't even, like... I have trouble even... Like, tennis, I kind of understand the athleticism involved and everything. With ping pong, it's just so fast. It seems like just watching it would just, like, make my eyes tired or something. Does anybody want to watch it? Anybody like ping pong?
I don't particularly care about ping pong. I'll give it an episode. I just haven't yet.
I was kind of thinking, like, what if someone made an anime about beer pong?
I have never played beer pong, so it would be educational for me. Yeah, I didn't get out much in college. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to next one on the list. Time Bokon 24. I think this show was like made for 7-year-olds. I just kind of watched it because I was intrigued by the little capsule premise on Crunchyroll. And here's the thing, I actually like the premise of the show a lot, but it is so a kid show, I don't think I can watch more than one episode. Because, like, the premise is, okay, everything you know about history is wrong, and these people need to time travel, to go back in time to all these different eras, to find out what the real history is, and establish that. But the people who work for the textbook company that makes the history textbooks is trying to stop them, because every time the time travelers reveal the truth of history, they have to update the history textbook. So, like, I thought that premise was really cute, but then it's like, okay, this is, like, targeted younger than maybe Pokemon.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if
This is the first time that Tatsunoko remade a show, but kept it to their demographic instead of making a more mature version of the like what they did with Kishurn Sins, Gatchaman Crowds, and Yatterman Knights. So
yeah, I mean, I would be all about it if they did that.
So I was surprised to see that you mentioned it was like a children's show.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it, but I saw the premise myself, and I thought it was kind of neat. And then I looked at it a little more. And I'm like, oh, this is definitely a show. This is definitely
if I remember correctly, like the villains in Time Bokan actually were an inspiration they ended up being the inspiration for the main villains in Yatterman, for like the original Doronjo and her two cronies.
Oh, well,
Interesting.
and I was thinking while I was watching this first episode of Time Bokan that they were very reminiscent of Team Rocket. They were Team Rocket that works for a textbook company.
Yeah. Like that's what they pretty much are in Yatterman as well. They're like Team Rocket before Team Rocket existed.
Well, really, Team Rocket are the best villains. You don't need any other villains when you have Team Rocket.
Well, the cool thing about Yatterman Night is that they actually make them the heroes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to see that after hearing that angle about it.
I still need to finish it, but what I watched of it was excellent.
I want to see the uncut. I think the only thing was like when it broadcasted, like I think the final episode, like the animation was kind of like whatever, but they fixed it in the Blu-ray version.
Yeah, the budget kind of fell apart. Like everyone was saying that, which is the reason I haven't finished it. And I think that is out now. I just haven't gone back for it yet.
Wait, when did the Scatterman Nights come out?
Oh, I think it's already been released on Blu-ray already, and I'm guessing there's probably a dub of it streaming on Funimation's website as well too.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so many anime, guys, so little time. Okay, next show on my list, Utapri, Maji Love, Legend, Style, something, Sparkle, you know what I'm talking about, Utapri.
Yes.
But no one's watching this, right?
No.
Now, LB is definitely going to be watching this, but he couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to have to wait till next week to confer with him about Utapri. But I will say one thing, that even though it's pretty, the formula is pretty, well established by this point. You don't go into Utapri expecting any surprises whatsoever. But one thing I like about the show is that, like, things that would be a dream sequence or an imagined spot in any other show, like in Utapri, that's just what life is like. Like
that's interesting.
Like, there's one scene where, like, all the different bands are, like, serenading the main character, and, like, one group picks her up in, like, a giant limo, and then the next group picks her up in, like, a Hummer, and, like, they grab her out of the car, and they throw her into the, like, Hummer limo or something, and then the main group, Starish, they come down with a helicopter and pick her up, and, like, you know, normally someone would wake up from a dream or something, but no, that's just Utapri. That just happens.
Nice.
And cats become idol singers, and that's, you know, it's all just,
well, that's typical. That's typical anime stuff right there.
That's true. So yeah, Utapri, I guess I just need to wait until LB is available so we can be like, oh my god, Utapri! I wonder if his favorite Utapri guy is the same as my favorite Utapri guy. I have to wait.
The reincarnation of Sakamoto fights.
Yeah, well, we'd have to take it in a different direction. You know, I think we reached the artistic pinnacle of our Sakamoto dates, and would need to...
It'll have to become like the Utapri debate. Which Utapri guy is the best one?
Yeah, I like the way you think so. Okay. Next one on my list, this is a short that I watched on a whim, Kaiju Girls, and actually this is at 2 episodes air so far.
Actually caught that one as well, too.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it, even though it's just a silly 3-minute short. I'm waiting to find out, like, what kaiju all the girls are, even though I don't actually know that much about kaiju, so it's probably going to be
Yeah, it's supposed to be a reference to the Ultraman franchise.
Oh, really?
Oh, is this are these the things that have, like, a figure series?
Yes, actually, I think when that happened, it also got a light novel, and this is a short making fun of the light novel.
I remember looking at it and being like, wow, this is the most meta thing ever about something I know nothing about. And that was enough for me. And that was when I saw the figures. They're actually really good figures.
Anyway, Kaiju Girls just looks like it's kind of like a silly fun. And that reminds me, I did not watch this, but apparently Crane Game Girls got a 2nd season, and Crunchyroll has it, and that is just mystifying to me.
Oh yeah, Karen, to add to the Kaiju Girl thing, so like the one girl with the red hair, the one that was Pigmon, like the actual Pigmon is actually a cute kaiju that actually likes humans. Like whenever it appears in Ultraman, it's never a monster that you fight, but it's one that always results in some of the franchise's most heartwarming episodes.
Okay, see, with every episode of Kaiju Girls, I'm going to need you to tell me, like, who the kaiju is. And, like, what
well, the thing is, I'm not even an expert on Ultraman. Like, I only got into the franchise with X last year just to support Crunchyroll picking up the franchise.
Well, you still know a lot more than I do about kaiju, so...
Yeah.
Chances are good you will know. Okay, let's see. What else do I have on the list? That we're not going to discuss until next week. And the last thing I wrote down, oh god, to end with this. Did anyone see Gakuen Handsome?
No.
This show looks like if someone said to me, okay, you need to make an anime that's going to be on the air next season with your computer, with Anime Studio, and you have, 3 months or something. Make an anime now from scratch. That's kind of what Gakuen Handsome looks like. It is the worst, most amateurish, and probably intentionally amateurish looking anime I've ever seen on Crunchyroll. And keep in mind, I actually watched J.K. Meshi and Crane Gang Girls and some of that other stuff that was really amateurish. So it's worth watching the first episode of 3 minutes just to be like, wait, this was allowed? They allowed these pictures to be drawn?
I'm guessing it's supposed to be a comedy, so that's why they're going. So it's not meant to be taken seriously, I guess.
Yeah, it's silly. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, it's so horrible. I mean, it's just 3 minutes of, fluffy fun. And I'm sure, the bad art is, partially intentional, because that kind of, goes along with the humor and everything. But, there's another perspective of looking at it from which it's actually just really bad art and animation. So, I don't know if I'm actually gonna... Well, I probably will keep up with that, because it's 3 minutes, and it'll make me feel good about my own drawing ability. It'll make me feel really good about it. So that was everything I wrote down, and I might have watched one or two other things, but if I did, they didn't make much of an impression, which isn't... Oh, I watched some of Bloodivores because Wilson was watching it, but I only saw, 1 or 2 scenes because I was, in and out of the room doing something else, and after the episode ended, I was based on what I saw, I have no desire to, fill in the gaps of what I missed there, so...
Yeah, when I, this last, I guess just yesterday, I asked some of my friends, so which show should I watch first? And they were all like, well, as long as it's not Bloodivores, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem offensively bad or anything, it just seemed dull. I just had no interest in what was going on. Okay, so I think that's everything I wrote down. Lifesong, you got anything you watched yet that I haven't watched?
Yeah, I've got 2 more, actually. Token, Ranbu, and Trickster. Have either of you seen...
Oh wait, which Token Ranbu is the one that's airing now? The one by Dogakobo or the UFO table one?
The one by Dogakobo. I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah, UFO table is also making one. I think that one's gonna be a winter or spring series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's basically what my understanding of it is. It's Shinsengumi period samurai, except they're the swords of the samurai come to life to protect history from evil revisionists,
and they're all good-looking guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically I think it's based off a game. It's basically like Cancol, yes, except it's pretty boys instead of pretty girls.
Wait, what's this? What show is this? I'm sorry.
Token Ranbu.
Token Ranbu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, considering I'm already watching Otakusphere and Magic-Kyun Renaissance, may as well watch all the cute boy shows.
Yeah, I think
I was sure that was coming next on your list, and then you didn't. Yeah. You didn't.
Because I imagine it would have been up your alley, Karen, from what I've seen of the artwork for Token Ranbu.
Okay, I'll try to pick that up then. It'll be funny if by the time we get halfway through the season, the only thing I'm watching is these reverse harem shows with pretty guys in them.
There are a lot of them this season.
Yeah, I said weeks ago, this is a good season to be a chick if you're watching anime.
Yep.
Hey man, the ladies need their fan service too.
We most certainly do. We have needs. Wow, I feel like I was about to go off in a hentai direction there. I'm just scared myself. Okay, and the other show you watched was what's Trickster? I've seen that mentioned, but I'm not sure what it is.
I'm not entirely sure what it is either. I've seen the first episode. Basically, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on. It's like a modern day setting. There's at least one guy that's got superpowers, and it starts off with this edgy thing about how there have been so many people alive on this planet, and they've all died. There's only 6 billion currently alive, or I forget what number they throw out in the anime, but it starts all edgy like that, and then it moves on to this real, I don't know, this guy who's just running around saving people and all energetic, and it kind of has this I don't want to say Durarara feel, because that will raise the expectations way too high, but it's all over the place in that kind of a way, if that makes sense.
That does kind of make sense. I might check it out.
I wasn't completely sold on it, but I thought it was interesting.
Okay. Oh, and I just wanted to mention before I forget, I know Euphonium just came out, but I'm not caught up on the first season of Euphonium, so I'd have to catch up on that first season before I can watch that
on a
season.
different note, did y'all get to finish ReZero since that ended before the fall season started?
Yes.
I have not finished it, but it wasn't a case of not like having the time to finish it. It was more I chose to watch other things because I didn't feel like emotionally ready for ReZero. I know I have to finish it, and I do want to finish it, and I know we're all going to want to discuss it at one point, but I just need like another week or two. Because like, it's not like I hate the show or anything. It's just like I just did not feel like psychologically ready to go back to ReZero for a while. So we'll see about that.
Oh yeah, and for Zesty Lemons, Karen, like that one actually is coming back this winter, so you can take your time with catching up with the first season.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the first 2 or 3 episodes of that I saw, so I probably will actually. Oh, and some of the shows that I wanted to watch, but where I was unlikely to because they were on Funimation, are now on Crunchyroll, thanks to the wonderful
merger.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing. It feels weird just to have everything.
From what I heard of the speculation, like apparently it has to do with like the new direction. Like one aspect was the new direction Hulu was taking. Because like apparently because you know when they moved all their free content to Yahoo Video, apparently that resulted in some of those the people who streamed their stuff on Hulu, they lost some of that ad revenue money since Hulu would share it. And Funimation used to get a lot of that ad revenue money from their stuff on Hulu. So
interesting.
And then another possibility too is the rise of Amazon Prime picking up anime, along with Netflix picking up anime as well for their streaming
I wonder how much of an influence that would have had at this point. They haven't licensed that much. I kind of feel like it's like a kiss of death when they do, because like it gets licensed and streamed in Japan too, and then it's like nobody has watches or ever hears of these shows.
Like apparently I guess another factor too, because I think I heard somewhere that apparently when Amazon and Netflix jumped into like the original series and simulcasting, and apparently it caused the licensing fees to go up from the usual price.
Yeah, maybe they were paying more, and then the companies were all, "Hey, we want more too." For all these other shows.
But at least now we know the secret behind how Crunchyroll's pulling up that DVD release plan. It was because of Funimation's team up.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it, but you're right, that makes perfect sense. But anyway, what was the show I said I meant to watch for a while? Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash, that's on Crunchyroll now, so I'm probably going to end up watching that.
Yes.
Okay, basically I'm waiting for Wilson to have time to watch that with me, because it seems like the kind of thing he would probably like. Okay, so let's see. Sal, any shows you caught that neither of us caught yet?
I guess the other one I guess we're saving for next week is going to be the Yuri on Ice, once everyone catches that.
Yeah, just for the sake of the listeners, we're recording this on Wednesday, and Yuri on Ice just came out a few hours ago, so it's kind of like always been our policy. We don't discuss shows that air on the day of. Quick question, Karen. Did you get to catch it? Yes, but let's not talk about it, because it would be mean.
I'm all lame, and I didn't get to watch it.
It's okay. Well, hopefully LB will be back next week, and I think he'll really want to discuss this too, so... So we'll have a Yuri on Ice special next week. Let's see. Just before I guess it's a pretty short show tonight because the season just started, but I figured I'd just mention a couple of other things I'm planning on checking out as the season continues. One of them is Fune wo Amu, which is the one that takes place... Well, it's one that's about publishing a dictionary. I'm always a sucker for, like, anything about publishing, so... It might be very boring, and oh shoot, I just remembered something from like the very, very beginning of the podcast that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't. Guys, you remember the Morose Monokinian?
Yes.
I actually finished that show as well, and completely forgot to mention it. And that one I actually kept up with as it was airing, unlike First Love Monster, but it did the thing that I was... afraid it was going to do, which was entirely episodic and really had no overall plot. They like dropped hints there was going to be an overall plot, but like but basically anything interesting they saved for a hypothetical season 2. So
well, the important question: did they ever stop yelling at each other?
No. No.
Well, I know I don't need to go back for it.
And oh god, what was wrong with me at the beginning of the show that I forgot like half of what I watched over the summer? But I also finished Amanchu. which you didn't finish that, did you, Life Song?
I want to go back and finish it. I want to go back and finish a few of those slice of life shows, but no, I fell behind on most of them.
Okay, do you mind if I spoil them on you a little bit then?
Go ahead.
Okay, because I was saying at the beginning of the season that I was psyched for it, but I just hope that they didn't spend all their time in school and not diving. Well, they don't go diving until episode 12.
What? What were they doing? What were they doing with the show?
Oh, well, friggin' Teko had to learn how to swim, and then they went on, friggin' irrelevant field trips, and there was, a cat that got lost at some point.
Okay, well, that thing...
Think on the bright side. If it comes back for season 2, then it's going to be the diving season.
You would hope, but I don't know,
I mean, because considering that Arya got renewed for a lot of seasons, and it's the same director that worked on the Arya anime.
I'll say this for Arya too. Arya was very thorough with all of that kind of stuff, so I could see that they might just follow through with all the way through from learning how to swim to expert diving.
But it's I could kind of see what they were going for, because by the time they finally do go diving in episode 12, it's like a friggin' religious experience. It really is. But
well, that's cool.
But some of those, earlier episodes where it's okay, it's really hot, we have nothing to do, so let's play red light, green light. It's no, I did not need 12 episodes of this. I think it would have been better if they built up to the first dive trip and had that in episode 6 or something, and then just not spent as much time on all this filler stuff. And I mean, I'm sure it was much easier to animate all the stuff of them just hanging around than the actual diving was, but still, it was still a little bit disappointing to me.
That might have been more because of the source material than the team itself.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been that just they were honoring what the original pacing was. I don't know. But although it did kind of make me want to go scuba diving, because...
It did its job.
Yeah, well, except for there was that one part in episode 3 where they were oh, well, if you don't breathe right, your lungs will explode. And then I was oh god, I don't want to go scuba diving. But,
well, that's just how it works.
Yeah, but, so I've kind of been, casually looking into it. Now would be the absolute wrong time of year to look into it, but I've been looking into, scuba diving on Long Island and what's available around here. But then I watched episode 12, and I watched it when, Teko's kind of getting her diving license or whatever and doing these drills that she has to do underwater. And I was just thinking, God, could I do that? I mean, of course it looked all nice and wonderful and friendly, and there are fish swimming around and everything. It was could I actually handle being that deep underwater? And I was I don't know. But I feel it would kind of be like a real, if I could do that, it would be a huge self-confidence booster.
Oh, Karen, what if you could do it as a mother-daughter thing, once Gwen gets older?
That thought did actually occur to me, but it would probably help if I knew how to dive myself before I tried to take her diving. I don't know. Plus, I think they recommend that your child be older than 1 before you dive.
That's why I said when she's older, maybe high school age, middle school age.
Well, I think a lot about stuff we could do together when she's older, but it feels... They always tell you, these baby years, they won't come again, so, you should enjoy them now. So it's I feel guilty if I start thinking about the future too much. But, yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
Because I remember correctly, I think, my older half-brothers learned a bit of diving, when they were, in their early teens, or so. So maybe that could be when to start.
Yeah, I think they do have diving for kids, too. Okay, so but now we just went on a total tangent on diving that has nothing to do with anime.
Well, it's related to Amanchu and how
it's sort of related.
Diving, diving resonated with people.
All right, I just wanted to mention 1 or 2 more shows. So yeah, the Fune wo Amu, the show about publishing, I'm definitely going to try that. I don't think that's been announced for anything yet. I could be wrong. So I'm going to be watching out for that. We Cross, that's another one where I'm not up to date because I didn't see all of the first We Cross season.
Oh, there's a new We Cross season this fall?
Yep.
I think it's a new show. I think that it's new characters and stuff too.
Oh, so maybe you don't actually need to have seen the first season? Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I mean I recognize or rather I don't recognize any of the characters. So.
Okay, and I
still remember we used to call the show Wick Sauce.
Yeah. In my mind, I still call it that. I just say We Cross out loud so I don't sound stupid. So I don't sound as stupid, let's put it that way. Let's see, what else? I want to see Stella no Maho, which is the one about the Dojin video game circle. So kind of could be New Game Part 2, only without purple hair, we'll see.
Oh, is that streaming on Crunchyroll?
It's another one. I don't know if it's been announced for anything yet.
Crunchyroll has like this mile-long license page of question marks right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the kind of show Crunchyroll would get, but I don't know that for a fact. Oh yeah, and of course I'm going to watch Kiss Him, Not Me, which sounds... Well, it's another show filled with cute guys. You know, I've got a theme this season I've got to stick to.
Hey, gotta take advantage of this cute guy overload.
Yep, gotta strike while the iron's hot and all that. I'm sure this is the kind of show that people are going to call problematic, so I've got to watch it.
Karen, don't give in to that term. Remember, you hate using the word problematic.
I know, and every time I use it, I'm part of the problem. Bad me. Bad Karen. Okay. Oh, yeah, and I actually... Okay, last thing. I promise this is the last thing I forgot from earlier. Probably. I did see one more thing. I saw the first episode of Working. Well, technically season 4 of Working, I think. It's, or Wagnaria, whatever you want to call it. But it takes place in a different restaurant, like it's a different restaurant of the same chain in a different part of the country. And I don't know, I liked it fine, but if I hadn't already seen 3 seasons of Wagnaria, I'd probably be all about it. But I was like, haven't I seen this already? So
yeah, that was kind of the impression. I haven't seen it yet myself, but that's kind of the impression all my friends have been giving me. Yeah. It's like, this is weird. These characters, I know all of them, but they all look a little different, and they all have different names. Yeah,
there's like the violent girl and the kind of like delinquent sort of girl, and yeah. I don't know.
I guess this is more of just an entirely new series instead of a new season, since it's a new cast, new setting.
Kinda.
Well, it's a new cast, but I mean, based on episode 1, it really doesn't seem to be doing anything too different from the first show. But you know, I might give it another episode or two, just because I always kind of liked Wagnaria anyway. It's a pleasant 23-minute diversion, so it's not like it's going to hurt me to try to.
Oh yeah, wasn't the new one called www.wagnaria? Like that was the official name.
I think so. Yeah. Also, it makes me want to eat it at Denny's. We don't have a Denny's near here.
Wait, what? Like, you're like in the Big Apple and there's no Denny's? Like, that's weird.
Well, we don't have Denny's here either.
Well, we're not in New York City proper. We're out in the burbs, yo. We don't have a lot of Denny's. We have other things, but not
in
Denny's.
The exchange, you have a lot of better places, better diners, better eateries.
We do have a lot of diners, I will say that.
And a melting pot of lots of different cultures, too, for lots of different foods.
You want to come visit New York, Sal?
It sounds like it does.
I've never been to New York ever in my life. Never.
All right, you should come visit sometime. I would say we'll show you all the sites, but a lot of them I haven't been to myself. I've been to the Statue of Liberty, and if you're claustrophobic, it's really not a good place to go. Especially if you're claustrophobic and have a fear of heights, then it's like the worst. But anyway.
That was for your case, Karen?
We went in like 4th or 5th grade or something. We had to go up this extremely rickety spiral staircase up the center of the statue with like no guardrails or anything on any side. And I was like, how is this legal? How are we allowed to do... I was terrified. Maybe they've changed it since that was probably like 20 years ago, but... Okay, now I'm having Statue of Liberty flashbacks. Maybe it's time to end the podcast. Okay, anything else anyone want to mention before we sign off for this evening?
Just because I didn't get to mention it earlier, I finished Alderman, and oh my god, the ending of that is such a tease. Like for the rest of the story and where they're going to go with it, it's kind of cruel.
Hopefully you'll get a second season, so you can see what happens.
I don't think we will, but I would go out and buy the novels now if I could. That was how interested I was in it.
I think Yen Press might have licensed them, so you might be able to own them one day.
I hope you're not pulling my leg.
Wait,
did they really license it?
Research time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of suspected like the princess motivation for being so interested in Ikta was going to be something kind of cliche and predictable, and then the very last episode they drop it. You're like, oh, that's what she's after. Damn it, the show's over now. No, you can't do that.
Does she want him to be as a marriage prospect?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
The cliche thing I was expecting him to do with it was. Our kingdom is corrupt. I need you to help us overthrow and win the take over the kingdom and lead us in a new age or something like that. I don't want to say what her actual motivation is because I was like, I thought it was pretty cool.
Wait, Life,
I don't want to spoil it.
I might have been pulling your leg, so but
Aww.
but keep your hopes up that they'll pick it up, because I mean, Yen Press has almost licensed almost every anime that's been based off a light novel lately. So
they get a lot of them. They're missing a few that I wish they'd grab. But
actually, I may as well say this now and get it out of the way, because whenever Yen Press has come up, I for some reason I've just never mentioned this. But I did technically do some work for Yen Press as a proofreader at one point. They haven't given me an assignment in a long time. But I just realized, in the interest of full disclosure, I should probably mention that Yen Press has paid me money. So.
Oh, when was the day you got this gig?
It was only for like a year or two. I mean, I think technically I'm still on their roster, but I think that their like list of freelancers has just grown so much that like they don't need people like me who are only available through like specific, with kind of picky requirements. So I think I did it like 2014-ish. No, I remember I did it at least once when I was pregnant, so at least some of it must have been in 2015. But I haven't gotten an assignment since then. So I should probably contact them and just find out if there's any points might being put on their like more frequent contributor or whatever list, or if I should just like terminate the relationship, because right now it's a little weird that I don't want it. That, like, technically I kind of sort of have a working relationship with them, but I'm really not. So, yeah, I should probably clear it up one way or the other. So, that has been your official disclaimer, listeners. Go out and buy lots of Yen Press products. Yeah! Okay, but I'm getting a little hoarse, so I think... Well, and plus we're out of stuff to talk about, more importantly, so I think we should probably end the podcast. Okay, nice talking with you guys again, and we'll see you again next week. Later.
Yep.
Yes.
Bye.